Hi again, and welcome to another training video from In Cafe, home of organic coffee. Today we're going to cover soft brew methods. So not using the espresso machine, we're going to use other pieces of equipment. And what we're going to go through today is aero-press. And we'll convert it or compare it with the cafetiere, which has been around obviously for a very, very long time in comparison to the aero-press, which is quite a new addition. We'll also go and make some Syphon coffee. So we're going to use the Yama coffee Syphon. We'll go chemex, and we'll also do just 1 cup brew with the clever cup. We'll start with aero-press and the cafetiere. Aero-press basically came about to make this coffee better, more smoother, less groundy. So that's how this one came about. I will start with this one here. We'll prepare some cafetiere coffee and then we'll move on to aero-press. For that, I will need obviously the actual cafetiere. I want to make sure it is all clean. It is obviously undamaged. There's no cracks or anything. And we don't have any old coffee floating around anywhere or being stuck inside that filter here, the mesh filter. We also want to make sure this is preheated, which I've done. And we will need a scale so that we can actually weigh our coffee that we're going to use. And we will need, of course, coffee. The coffee that we're going to use is our beautiful Marin Estate. It's a Peruvian fair trade organic coffee. Has some wonderful fruital tones to it and some really chocolatey notes, so that should come out quite nicely in all of those brew methods that we're going to do today. The ground coffee that you will use needs to be, of course, a little bit coarser than espresso, so I have set the grinder to actually get that already done. So when you feel it between your fingers, it would be like sand. Yeah, that is the grind setting that you would want. And what we're going to do, this cafetiere holds 800 milliliter in total in terms of actual coffee. And we're just going to go halfway, which is plenty. So we'll do 2 cups, basically 200 milliliter cups there. And the recipe that we tend to work with for any soft brew method roughly is a cup being 150 milliliters. For that we use 10 gram of ground coffee. So for my 200 milliliters I will use just a little bit more, so it'll be about 13 gram. Cool. So coffee. I'll need to grind some fresh coffee, so I just turn my grinder on. So preheated, here it is. I will need some hot water. So I need to fill my jug with some hot water, and the ideal temperature is not boiling, so it's not right off the jug when it stops. It is actually 92 degrees would be a much better temperature, and that's what we're going to do. So we set it for 92. So that will go to 92 degrees now, and I can start putting my coffee in here. So I pop that on there. I'll just tear that weight away, so it's 0, and I can quite nicely measure obviously the amount of coffee I'm popping in here. Thereabouts. Yep, there we go. I'll shake this out, just nice and level. So while this is heating to 92 degrees, we can actually start talking a little bit about the aero-press. Comes in different pieces. So this is your upper part where the filter is actually then attached to. You do need some filter papers. This is your actual press. And then this is the funnel that will just help you to place your coffee directly into that cylinder. Cool. 92, I'm actually on the right temperature now, so we're going to do the plunger coffee first, our cafetiere. And the very first thing that you would want to do is just slowly infuse all the ground coffees so that they are actually underwater. This is called the bloom. And I'm going to do this until it's about where that handle is. And then I actually let this sit for a couple of minutes. I'll put that lid on, it's just so that I trap that heat a little bit more in there. So while this is blooming away and the gases are actually being let go, I can continue on my aero-press here. So the aero-press is basically just for 1 cup. Yeah. To start off, I need to place this in here. It is advisable to always pre-wet your filter. Yeah, so I'll grab one of my little paper filters here, grab a cup, and then just place your filter, put that paper filter in there. And what we're going to do, we can use this hot water, and we're just going to pre-wet this as well, so it removes anything that is possibly in that paper as well. Now this is 1 cup one. I'm running with 220 milliliters, which equates to 14.6 grams, so we go with 15 gram. So that is what I need to measure. And what I can do, I can just literally put this one right on here. I place my funnel in there, I tear that weight away, and I can measure my coffee in here. Go, 15.1, marvelous. Take this away. So this is actually ready to go. However, this has been sitting now quite nicely, so I'm going to take that lid off. So we'll just fill this up until half full. Remember, I'm only going to do 2 cups, not 4. Here we go. We want to mix it properly. Yeah, so grab yourself a tablespoon and make sure everything is actually mixed really well. Then we place our filter on top, and we need to deep press slowly straight down, not on an angle, otherwise we may cause the ground coffee come out on the side. And that shouldn't take too long. So overall, your whole brew time total is no longer than 4 minutes. Let's have some plunger or cafetiere coffee. Hold your lid when you pour. And voila. Oh, let's finish this one off, and then we can compare the actual flavors to it as well. So I've got my coffee in here. I need water again, and I need it at 92 degrees yet again. My water is at 92 degrees, so we can get started. And what I will do first is just, again, making the coffee blooms. I'm only going to pour about 40 ml in there to submerge my ground coffee and to let gases come out and to let it settle. This should not take longer than 20 seconds really. After that, we're going to actually top it up, mix it, and start the depression process. So I'll start slowly topping this up, and you actually top it right to the top rim. There we go. I'll mix it up just so it's all nicely mixed up. And then we put our filter on, which is pre-wetted here. And you'll pop it on there. We'll turn it around. And we'll start the depressing process. And this should take no longer than 30 seconds. Yeah, pushing it down. So here we're extracting pretty much with some pressure. Quite different to the cafetiere, obviously, where it's just emulsion, just being infused. And you press until you hear a little squirting sound. It's very hard to hear, but I did. And there we go. There's our aero-press coffee. Yeah, and if you compare them now, the color is so much clearer. Yeah, it does take out quite a lot of the, not impurities, but small sediments, etc. So you will have a much cleaner, more smoother cup. So that's aero-press versus cafetiere. So we now move on to chemex, and we'll do 1 drip filter. This is called the Clever Cup. So this does drip filter extraction for just 1 cup, 1 big mug basically. And this one here is a similar version of it. We're going to use a paper filter as well. And we're very slowly going to pour the water over the ground coffee, and it will filter itself through into this lower part of the chemex. Very popular now. Again, very clean, smooth flavors. Yeah, it takes out any bitterness, so that does not come through, which is beautiful. So we'll start with the chemex. For that, you will need obviously a paper filter, and if you're using this, you grab one. And what you need to do, you need to fold it half. Sorry, you fold the inner circle in first, sorry. Fold it in half. And then we fold it in half one more time. Cool. There you go. And you open up, it's like a little sugar bag or sweets bag. So this will be where we put the ground coffee in. So we place it into our chemex, which of course is preheated, but we're going to heat it some more anyway because we want to wet this paper filter again as well, just to make sure there's no impurities or anything. So we're just going to wet it really gently. Oh. We let that drip through. And then we're going to let go of that water in there by pouring it out on that little spout here. Cool. Again, we need coffee, of course, same ground size as what we previously have used. And we'll use the same recipe again, 150 milliliter. For that we use 10 gram. I'm going to do 3 cups. So I'm going to use 450 milliliters, and we're using obviously 30 gram of ground coffee for that. I'll get my coffee. I've just ground it, so it is fresh. And what I will do, I can put my chemex on there and I can literally just weigh on there. Take that weight away. And we'll start putting the ground coffee in. Cool. Again, water-wise, I would like to have 92 degrees. So I'm just going to switch my little kettle on again. I will shake this a little bit just to make sure that the ground coffee is all really nice and evenly distributed, so that when I pour the water on top, it will extract evenly. So 92 degrees, my water is ready. And what I will do is just really gently now pour, infuse my ground, and I'll fill this up, and I'll wait. Once almost all the ground coffee has gone, or the water has disappeared, we grab our jug again and we fill it up one more time. And we can serve. Very smooth, very clean. So let's compare that with just using that one drip filter here. So this is called a clever cup. This wonderful cup will not start extracting until I've actually placed it on the rim of a cup. So until then, it's infusing in here and steeping, which is quite a wonderful thing. So this is a 1 cup one, so quite a nice big mug is what you can use. And for that we need paper filter yet again. We need size 1 of a paper filter. And make sure when you use these paper filters you place them correctly. First fold over the edges, then open it, and then place it so it's really neatly hugging the wall as much as you can. I am going to wet it again a little bit because it's better to have a pre-wetted filter. And like I said, it won't actually infuse unless you put it onto a rim of some sort. Oh, So same again, we use the same recipe, so 150 milliliter, we use 10 gram. I'm going to make this a bigger cup. Obviously it's quite a huge mug, so I'm running with my 220 milliliters again. So I'm putting roughly 15 gram in there, so we need to weigh that. And I'll pop that on here. Again, tear it away. And I can put my coffee in there. 14.7, that's pretty good. Cool. I'll shake this a bit, just so it's evenly distributed. And then I need hot water again. So I'll turn on my snazzy little jug and we wait till it's hot. So we're on 92 degrees, excellent. My water is ready to go. And again, we do the same thing, we just really gently infuse to let it bloom. Get some of the gases out. And then we start the extraction. And I will top it up one more time, but not full, only halfway. And that will be my 1 cup drip filter. Quite a nice coffee, actually quite a nice way to make your coffee in the morning. It's often how I have it. So I will top this up now. It's only halfway now. So it's almost complete, it's just a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. Yep, I'll let that drip and I'll remove. And the beautiful thing is it won't really drip anymore because it stops it immediately. And here's my wonderful 1 cup drip filter. So last one, the Syphon. This is a Yama 2 or 3 cup coffee siphon that we're going to use now. So basically, principle of it is we heat the water then creates a vacuum, it shoots through the ground coffee, and then once we remove heat, that disappears and the coffee comes back down. So what we need for it is the upper chamber. Yeah, this is the stand for it. This is your spirit, obviously methylated spirit for your flame. I'll unscrew that. And you don't want the flame actually too high up at all, or the actual wick. Yeah, just a little bit above there, so you don't want a huge flame to happen. You also will need this actual filter, yeah, which gets attached to the bottom of your upper chamber. So I'm going to place this filter now in here. Yeah, take this out and you pull it and you'll hook it in, so this is fully hooked in, so the filter stays solid where it needs to be. Cool. Same principle again, I'm going to go with 150 milliliter, 10 gram. We'll make 3 cups, why not? So what I will start off with, to make this process a lot faster, I'm actually going to pour hot water into here to start off with, so we don't actually need to have the flame for too long underneath. And I can start putting obviously coffee in here. So first I'll switch on again my kettle to make sure this is warming up. It's nice and hot. And I will put my coffee in here. So for my 3 cups, I will need 30 gram. Pop that in here, tear that away, and then put my coffee in there. Cool. Oh, so that goes actually in here now, so I can put that on there. And I will shake this so it levels itself out. Yeah, so it's nice and level. And we can pour hot water in here now, and it actually tells you here 2 cups or 3 cups, so we're going to go obviously to 3 cup. As we said, we're going to do 3. There we go. Cool. So we're going to now lighten it, put that away, and we're also going to cover it. So this is just so that the wind can't actually do any damage here, i.e. change direction. And we just let this now bubble up. So we need to get that water boiling. Cool. And then you place the upper chamber on top. And soon you will see the water will make its way to the upper chamber. We'll start to swirl this, mix it all up properly. And once there's almost absolutely no water left in the lower chamber, I will remove the flame and the coffee will make its way downward. Cool. And that is it. You just wiggle this out. I'll take the upper chamber off. And our Syphon coffee is ready to be served. I'll grab a glass just so we can see the colors. It's quite beautiful. And there we go. There's your Syphon coffee. So those were 5 different ways of brewing coffee. We call them soft brew methods. Important things to remember: always preheat your vessels. So your cafetiere is preheated, the upper chamber is preheated. Cups even that you serve obviously your coffee in. The right amount of ground coffee to the amount of water that you use always needs to be correct, otherwise you are under or over extracting, so you're getting some unpleasant flavors. And most importantly, this is fun. So you want to experiment with it and try and find the blend that you like most for whatever brew method it is. Yeah, they do give us slightly different flavors. We've tasted them all. Sorry, you weren't part of that. But if you play around and find the blend that brings out the most flavor in whatever brew method that you've chosen, that is the fun part. And I invite you to do that. I hope this video helped, and happy coffee making.